Hi, this is Mr. Payton. Welcome to the Science of Everything, episode 21. I want to talk about failure. As we near the end of 2022, I definitely have to call this the year of failure. Not much has gone right this year. You might think that that's the most horrible thing that a person could say at the end of the year. But if I'm being honest, let me give you a quick snapshot of what's happened for me in 2022. In 2022, I took a teaching position at a school that I had never taught at before, in a district I never taught at before, with a socioeconomic class that I'm not as familiar with. And it has not gone well. I've had conflicts with fellow teachers. Not really conflicts, but I've definitely had to explain some things to a few parents in terms of why I was handling the curriculum the way that I was. And I'd be lying if I didn't say this isn't the most uncomfortable working environment I've ever been in. So you might wonder, well, why in the world would you take that job? Simple. Loyalty, friendship. A friend of mine is a principal there, and I decided, hey man, we needed some help. It was something that we thought would be good. We had worked together before, and we saw, man, how bad could it be? We've already laughed about that and said, man, we never thought it would go this way. So that's the first set of failures, is that, bad placement, bad environment. So that's, I wouldn't say that's first, but that's the one that's on my mind the most. Next was one of my business ventures. I started an online school in 2022. No students. Nobody signed up for the classes. So another failure. In 2022, I decided to look at my writing a little more seriously, maybe a little more professionally. And so to date, and I guess it's not fair to call it 2022, but just for the sake of results, I published several books between 21 and 22, 6 to be exact, and I've sold a grand total of 13. That's a failure. I didn't think the number would be that low. I didn't think I was going to sell millions, but I thought I'd sell more than 13. And to be honest, I've sold one from one title, and the other 12 all come from the other title. So at least it's telling me which one people like. I've had a number of struggles in my personal life in terms of relationships. Not the relationships you're thinking about, not like dating, but just in people who I deal with on a regular basis. Things haven't gone as well as I'd like them to go. So I could easily call this the year of failure. You might think, well, why would I lead with this topic towards the end of the year where things should be happy and reflective and all that? This topic was kind of inspired by something I saw. I'm not the biggest social media person, but obviously because of things like this and my desire to share, I'm on social media from time to time. I'm on TikTok and Instagram and things like that. Facebook, not so much. There's a guy that I became aware of. Can't say I follow him, can't say I was a fan, but just somebody I became aware of. I believe his name is Twitch. Producer, exceptional performer. And not too long ago, he took his own life. And what I found to be remarkable about it is less than 2 days before he took his own life, there was this wonderful video he had just posted with his partner in life and partner in performing. And he looked, like a lot of people look. He looked happy. He looked like he was enjoying what he was doing. But apparently the next day, he, took whatever bag that had the weapon he was going to use, checked into a motel not far from where he lived, and took his own life. And, those kind of things always hit me hard. I remember the first one that really hit me was Robin Williams. And then, Anthony Bourdain. And there's been a number of people who have taken their own lives. I had that happen. I've had a former student take their own life. I've had a former player take their own life. I've had teammates, so there's this thing. It's a real thing. To me, there is a connection between failure and suicide. maybe that seems obvious to a lot of people. My point is that if I look at this year as a year of failure, then it could become very overwhelming. I've already dealt with depression before. I dealt with depression when I got divorced because I thought I was a failure as a man. To me, a man is on earth to do two things, father and husband. And I felt like I had failed at those two major things. Fortunately for me, my former spouse shared some things with me that allowed me to heal through that and show me that that wasn't the case. But it still was very difficult. It was a very dark, very heavy. It's a very physical experience. If you've ever been depressed, it's very physical. It's not, people think it's just something, get over it. No, it's real. Like you physically feel sluggish and you don't have motivation and appetite. And everybody obviously processes things differently. And for someone like me who doesn't drink coffee, I've never tasted coffee, hadn't drank a soda in almost 20 years. I've never had a drink, an alcoholic beverage in my life. I've never smoked anything. So I don't have outlets. I just have to feel the pain. I won't even take medication in many situations. So I know that failure is a real thing, and I know that what it feels like, and you just want to get away from it. And for some people, it goes further. Like they just don't want to live anymore. I think what's important for me to share with you right now is not to try to sensationalize this topic. That's not who I am. I'm not trying to get clicks or likes. I'm just trying to share my experience and hope that it helps someone else. I look at this year as a year of triumph. I took a lot of risks. That's where the failure comes from. The failure comes from maybe unrealistic expectations or expectations at all. The reality of it is I tried some brand new things in 2022 and they didn't go well. And so you can look at that and say, man, what a failure. What a bunch of dumb mistakes. What were you thinking? Or you can say, man, you tried some stuff. Check that off and keep going. Meaning check it off on the list of things you tried or things you always said you wanted to do and keep going. I didn't even mention the fact that I decided to try getting into the stock market outside of my retirement stuff for the first time. And we all know how everybody's doing in the stock market right now. I guess we're a few geniuses, but most of us are down right now, which is fine. My point is that I don't think 2022 was a year of failure, but I understand why some people would see it that way. I hope and pray that you take risks to find out what your limits are, to find out what you can do, to broaden yourself. But I also hope and pray that you have perspective on the fact that it could go bad or it could go well. The idea to me is that you take those risks, is that you try to grow, is that you try to become a better person. Let me tell you something. Easily, I'm 47 years old. This is the most uncomfortable year of my entire life. I've been through bad things before. A lot of it was out of my control, especially as a child. But these are all decisions that I made. These are people that I choose to have in my life. These are things that I did with my own hard-earned money. And it's uncomfortable. It is uncomfortable to keep looking at things not do well. So I've learned that there are some things that I may approach differently in 2023. I've learned that I can withstand these types of failures. That's what they are. But, of course, they don't define me at all. I am not a failure of a man. I'm not a failure of a person. I know that I'm not a good teacher. I'm an exceptional teacher. And I don't mind saying that, and I don't have any reservation about saying that. And I'm not saying it because I'm better than anyone else, because what I do, I'm very good at. I have a high level of skill. My emotional intelligence is very high. My content knowledge is extremely high. My ability to manage a classroom is exceptional. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that also on the same side as that I may be having a rough time at the current placement I'm in. So it doesn't mean I'm not all of a sudden a good teacher anymore, but I'm gonna have to find another way to be successful at this particular placement, and I will. I'm already on my way. As far as selling books or stock market, anything like that, just gotta weather the storm. Who knows? Maybe I'll all of a sudden sell some books, or all of a sudden I'll write another book that's a better title that just speaks to people a little bit better. Whatever, maybe the marketing will change. Who knows? But the idea is that I'm not gonna stay stuck in the fact that these initial attempts didn't work out. I am going to push forward. I'm going to continue to get better. I hope that if you're watching this, if you got this far in the video, because I know a lot of times when you watch YouTube, you don't watch all the way through. I hope if you got this far that you get this gem, is that we only get better when we try to stretch ourselves, when we try to improve. And that's all I tried to do in 2022, is become a better version of myself. And so maybe at the end of this year, I don't see the fruits of that, but I am confident that something that happened this year, something out of these failures is going to make me better in the future. And I hope that you find a way to see it the same way. I hope that you find that taking risks is a good thing. I hope you find that failures are instruction. They are lessons to be learned from. And I'm not just saying that as a pie in the sky. I'm telling you, sitting here right now on the day that I'm recording this, I am uncomfortable. I am frustrated. I'm a little pissed off too. But it's not going to stop me. That's the point. The point is, yes, I feel all the emotions you feel. And it is embarrassing, like it is. Like, why would you do that? And why would you be in those positions? But it's not going to stop me. It's going to motivate me. And I hope it motivates you. These videos have kind of taken on a life of their own. There's a couple of times I thought, okay, I'm going to stop at episode 10, or I'm going to stop at episode 15. There just keeps being topics to me that fit the title of the series, of this series, which is the science of everything. There is a science. In other words, a strategy to everything we experience. And that's all I'm trying to expose here. So I hope this was of value to you, and I hope and pray if you are someone who is struggling with depression, if you're struggling with failure, if you're struggling with just feeling like you're not valuable enough, for goodness sake, reach out to me. I am a counselor. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I am a counselor. I do have quite a bit of experience with supporting people in these areas. But talk to someone. Reach out to someone. Find someone you can trust. Continue to try to fill your mind and your heart with positive things so that you can recover from these failures and move forward. I hope, again, that this was somehow, some way, some value to you. And I will continue to push out content, hoping that it reaches someone and hopefully keeps someone else from deciding that they don't have any value anymore. You all have value. Every single one of you that's watching this and hearing this, you all have value. And I hope that you realize that whether you're failing currently or have failed in the past, you have value. And the longer you push forward, the more that value will show itself. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you.